he's got it. It's a good one. Definitely, ooh, definitely a good one. All right. Let's see what we got here. He's taking me over to the left side. He's heavy. When I set the hook, you can tell he's really big, guys. He's really big. Ooh. All right. Oh gosh, he's going for a run. He's really big. His head up. Oh, guys, he's huge. Yes! Check that big girl out. Just an absolute beauty. Beautiful walleye. And Zelda really likes her. All right, let's get her right back. All right, that was a really nice one. And a really nice way to start off this video. So in this one, we are going to be talking all about walleye fishing in the month of July. I'm gonna share a number of tips, and they are definitely gonna help you catch more walleyes in the month of July. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, I wanted to pull over to somewhere that was a little bit more quiet. While I was fighting that fish, there were two different people driving by, so I was trying to kind of keep it low key. But anyway, I pulled into a quieter little bay here. So why do I love the month of July? So like I mentioned, we're gonna be sharing some tips for this month, tips that'll help you catch more fish. But first of all, why do I like July? And the first answer to that is because for me, July is the first month that I would say we are in, sorry, I gotta adjust this camera here, is the first month that we are like truly in like full blown summer patterns. There, you know, whereas June was kind of that like transition month, July, we are like totally in it. So this is the first month for me that on some of the lakes I fish, you know, some of the clear, deeper bodies of water, some of those big isolated humps that are more out in the middle of the lake and not necessarily super close to shoreline or shoreline connected. That's when those humps start to populate, and you're not seeing that as much in June generally. So you're able to find fish on those isolated spots, and what's cool about spots like that is just the fact that they're super easy to you know, target really quickly. Like if there's 20 of them in a lake or 10 of them in a lake, you can boom, 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 check all of them really quickly. And one thing that's also cool about those humps is a lot of times there'll be fish setting up right on top of them, and if you just have 2D sonar, you can, you know, cast up on that hump and drag jigs across it and knock out a number of fish. But if you're using forward-facing sonar, or if you got like a number of those humps that are kind of lined up in an area where you can actually troll over them as well with lead core, I mean, humps absolutely attract you know, big suspended fish as well. So yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna do like a tip 1, tip 2, tip 3 kind of thing for this video, but that's the first point that I kind of want to get at, is just we're starting to see fish out, you know, like fully out committed on these deeper structures. So that can also mean like really deep points as well, like big main lake points, you know, where the fish were kind of working their way out onto those. Now you can, you know, start finding fish out on the tip of those. So that's why I love this month. What I really like about this month is just things are so predictable. Whereas June, it's kind of fun to adventure and explore, and there's all different you know, places those fish can be. In July, things are starting to get a lot more established, and you know, you kind of know where those fish are going to be setting up, and then it's just a matter of running through those areas, being as quick as possible, covering as much water as you can, and just checking spots where you know they're going to be. I would say July for me becomes a really easy month to go and target larger fish. You know, you don't always catch fish when you go out, but when it's July, you have a pretty good idea of where they're gonna be. You don't know if they're gonna bite or not. Like a day like today, you know, flat calm, I was out here for a little bit and I got turned down by a number of different fish. So not like a super red hot bite today, but you know, I did stick that one nice one. After I'm done shooting this video, I'm gonna go, you know, run around and look for some more fish. But predictable locations is a really big thing this month. All right, now as far as presentation goes in the month of July, this is kind of an interesting month. And I know when we talked about June walleyes in that last video, there were some folks that weren't happy that I kind of alluded to the fact that June can be kind of a kitchen sink month. With July, kind of the same thing, and even more tactics open up in July because you are seeing fish out on some of that deeper structure now. So for me, what I like to do, I like to target like 2 different types of fish for the most part. First of all, it's the fish up on the weed line, and then it's the fish out suspended on deeper structures. So those are the 2 types of fish that I like to target. One tactic that is always gonna work for both of those is taking just like a standard jig. So this one is a tungsten stand-up jig that Northland makes, and putting a night crawler on it. That's always gonna be a go-to. Something that I always have tied on. I pretty much throw every single time I go out on the water, unless I forgot night crawlers or unless I go, you know, up to Canada somewhere, you know, where the bite's a little bit more red hot and maybe I don't even pack bait. Yeah, jig and night crawler is for sure gonna be one that you have to have in your arsenal. Another one is gonna be a slip float. So if you're running a weed line, let's say if the weed line goes out to 13 or 14 feet of water, if you set your drop shot, or excuse me, if you set your, we'll talk about drop shots later. If you set your bobber to like, you know, 9 feet down, you can pretty much fan cast the edge of that weed edge and know that you're always gonna have your bait in a pretty good spot, because those walleyes are either gonna be down at the base of the weed line, or maybe they're gonna be floating up a little bit off the bottom and maybe a little bit out off that weed line. So if you have your bobber set, you know, a good 4 or 5 feet off the bottom, you can kind of work down that weed line, cover a lot of water, and also have a presentation that is very, very enticing. You know, you put a leech on there, you put a night crawler on there, and you're just gonna have a really good enticing presentation that's gonna get you a lot of bites, even when the bite isn't super amazing. But another tactic that you can use is taking that bobber, going out to deep structure, and putting a heavier weight on it, you know, like a 1/4 ounce plus, you know, with a big bobber, and getting that bait down in a hurry. When you see marks, cast out at it, or, you know, if you see the mark under the boat, drop down, let that bobber go down quick. It's called power corking is the name of the tactic, but I like to use like a 3/8 ounce weight for that. And yeah, you can get a bobber down to the depth of the fish really quickly. But one thing that is important if you're gonna do that is just paying attention to your electronics, because ultimately those fish are gonna be all over. You know, some of the fish will be right on the bottom, right on top of some of that deeper structure, but there's gonna be fish that are halfway down, you know, 1/3 of the way down, 2/3 of the way down. So you might have to adjust your bobber stop quite a bit. Another big one that I always have tied on is a drop shot. That's pretty much just a universal one for me. Like all season long, drop shots are gonna be killer. So make sure you got a drop shot tied up. It's just the facts of life. You can put a leech on there, you can put a night crawler on there, but it's just such an efficient tactic. And I've done seminars on drop shot fishing before. It's just a tactic that's just super, super effective. It's efficient, it gets down to the bait quickly. It allows you to get, to have sort of like a weightless presentation, but get it down to the fish really quickly. So if you're in 20 feet of water and you know, the fish are down on the bottom, you can toss that drop shot out there, watch it fire down to the bottom. If it's going down too fast, you can kind of, you know, put some tension on there and just, you know, slowly guide it down to the bottom. But then once that bait is down there, you can take basically just, like a plain hook and have some live bait on it, and you know, shake it in place. Shake the bait, not the weight. So that's basically like a totally weightless presentation. So drop shot is going to be a big one. And then if you like to troll, I mean, this is really a great month for you know, trolling all different types of crawler rigs. So whether it's a spinner rig, you can use a bottom bouncer. You know, a really good tactic is like if you have some deep structure that you can troll on, whether that's like a deep point, maybe a mud flat if you're out somewhere like Mille Lacs Lake. Also just like really large basins, like if you're out on Lake of the Woods, using a bottom bouncer and putting like a spinner rig behind it with a crawler on it's a really great option. Otherwise you can use a bullet weight and have some sort of like crawler rig behind it. It could be a spinner rig, it could be you know, some sort of slow death, just crawler rig where it's just the hook and a spinning crawler. That can be a good option. If you have too many bluegills, you know, eating up your crawler while you're trolling over the weeds, one thing you can try as well is actually using leeches instead, or plastic. If you can get bit on plastic, that's a super good option. Like a couple years ago, we were on an awesome spinner rig bite. I was fishing with my buddy Jared Houston. We were on the St. Louis River, and actually that was a midsummer bite. It might have been July. I'm not sure if it was July or August, but we were getting them on plastics, basically just like that big long eye candy crawler. So if you can get them on plastics, that's great, but another option is using leeches as well, and those can be super effective pulling over the weeds too. And the nice thing about leeches, it's a little bit harder for the bluegills and the perch and all the different, you know, different panfish and stuff up there to nip at it. So whereas with a crawler, like they can get in their mouth and they can work that crawler down until it's just a nub. With a leech, basically they have to rip it off to do any damage to it, and sometimes that can be sort of hard. So definitely try leeches when you're trolling rigs up over the weeds. But yeah, those are just a few presentations that you can try out in the month of July. All right, well, those are just a few tips that I think will help you catch more walleyes this month. Make sure to wear good protective clothing, always wear your sunscreen, and yeah, water temperatures are gonna be getting high, so there's gonna be a lot of folks that are gonna be out swimming. So share the lake. Obviously, you know, earlier when I caught that bigger fish to start this video, you know, just dealing with different boat traffic, so it's just something you're gonna have to deal with. If you're an angler, you're probably out on the water a lot more than the rest of these folks, so don't get too upset. You know, if they don't have the best lake etiquette, they might not understand. I had a boat earlier drive like 50 feet in front of the nose of my boat when they easily could have drove around the back of the boat. So, or just not drove so close. But anyway, it's one of those things. There's going to be a lot of recreational anglers out in the month of July. I mean, 4th of July is going to be here in, you know, a few days. So it's going to be crazy out there. Have some patience. Understand that not everybody else knows exactly what they're doing out here, so be safe, pay attention. If a boat's beelining it towards you and their nose is straight up in the air, you should probably get out of the way because they might not be able to see you. So safety is a really big one. And then when you're at the ramp, if you can help people out at the ramp as well, because yeah, once again, they might not know what they're doing. This is a crazy recreational month out on most of our lakes here. So sometimes helping some people out at the ramp too will help you get on the lake a little bit faster. So that's all I got for you. More videos to come, of course, but that's just like a little taste, just a few things to help put the odds in your favor in the month of July. So thank you for watching, and hope you guys catch a bunch of big walleyes this month.